Hey guys, so I've come into your art room for the 7th and 8th graders who know the art room, and I've cleaned out the clay area so we are ready to go when you guys get back to school to work with some clay. And today I wanted to show you a quick video of how to turn something on a wheel. So this is something I learned and I'm growing in it, so I'm not perfect at it, but I thought it'd be a nice start for you guys to have a look and see, and then when we get back to school, for student of the week or for someone who did a really good project, we'll let them have a turn on the wheel on Fridays. So here it is. You want to get a nice big ball of clay. You want it to be nice and ready to go on the wheel, moist enough but not too soggy, and then you make a little teardrop shape like this in the very center of the wheel, and you just throw it down on the wheel, and then you are ready to start spinning. So I have a little foot piece down here. Let me show you. You can see here there's a little foot piece, and I'm going to put my foot on this piece. When I push my foot down, then the wheel is going to spin. And I have a bucket of water here, and this bucket of water is going to keep the clay moist while I'm working with it. I also have a little tool, and that's going to help me take it off the wheel. I also like to keep a sponge with me, and a sponge just helps me clean off, as well as some people like to work with the sponge when they're doing clay. So I'm getting my hands nice and wet from the bucket that I have. I'm turning my wheel on. And now you can see I'm starting to work with the clay. And the first thing you want to do is you want to secure the clay to the bottom plate. And the way you do that is you hold your elbows in like this. And then you hold the clay down. You can see I keep my elbows in. Add a little bit more water, and then using this part of my hand, I'm going to push down the clay, and I'm going to make sure that it's nice and secure to the bottom. And then I'm taking this finger and running it down, and as I run it down, I'm securing it to that bottom area. You can see now how it's kind of suctioned down. That's what we want to start. So now I have my piece of clay. Now this is the hardest part. This is the part that I'm still trying to get a handle on as well. And it is getting the clay centered. So lucky with this piece that I got, it's fairly centered, but you can see how my hands are wobbling there. That means it's not completely centered. And the way we fix that is we move our hands, we actually push the clay, and because it's going in a rotating motion, that is going to push the clay up, and it's going to make it more centered. So I'm pushing up to create an upside down cone. You can see I've got a cone shape there now. It's quite a workout. You get quite an arm workout. Okay, we're going up. And I flatten the top out with my thumb. Can you see there? Now this is pretty centered. Now the hard part is now I'm going to go back down, and hopefully we will stay in the center. So I'm using this part again, and I'm holding here to secure the clay, and I'm pushing down. And you want to create a little bowl. That's what we're going to create today, is a bowl. You can do a cup, you can do a plate. We're now actually very well centered, which sometimes it'll take me through 2 or 3 tries to get up and back down again, sometimes even 10 times. And the more you practice, the better you get at getting it centered the first go round. All right, so you can see now I have this kind of a shape on my wheel. Okay, the next step is I'm going to take my middle finger here like this, and I'm finding the center of my clay like that. And then I'm taking this hand, I'm cupping the side, and as I find the center with my middle finger, I'm pushing down, 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 down. Not all the way to the bottom, because you still want the bowl to have a bottom. You see how that is looking now? The shape that is creating a concave in the middle. More water. You always want more water. And push down. Okay. You want about a quarter to a half an inch at the bottom. And that's going to give you a nice base. And then you can go in and correct that base once your clay is ready to go. So there we are. The next step, I'm taking that clay and I'm pulling it towards me. And as I pull it towards me, I make that circle in the middle bigger. And then I flatten out the top. And you see what I've done here. So that's a really good start to my bowl. and I'm just flattening out the center. Okay, now with the wheel, where my foot is, I can slow it down by just taking my foot slightly off the power. And so I'm pushing my heel a little down to slow the speed down. Now that we've gotten a bowl going, you don't want such a fast speed. I'm just smoothing my edges out. Okay, now we are going to raise the bowl. And how we do that is with this hand I put it on the bottom, and this hand I put it on the inside, and it creates a movement like this. And then I pull up on the bowl. You see how I got some height to my bowl now? And then I flatten out the top. You always want the top flat, because when you think about a cup, you think about when you sip on a cup, you don't want it to be a hard edge. You want it to be a round edge. So we always round out that edge. I'm just pushing that bowl out, and now I actually need to reduce my speed a little bit because I'm going too fast. You can see the bowl is starting to form. It's quite exciting. This can be a very frustrating process when you get started. Some of you might be looking at the video like, oh, that's difficult. I won't be able to do that. But it is so much fun just to get your hands in the clay that you will want to do it, and you want to get good at it. And you keep practicing, and then you'll get it. So now I'm slowing my wheel down even further. I'm starting to like the shape of my bowl, and I don't want it to be too thin. I'm going to make it just a little bit thinner. What I can do now, I've got a lot of water in the center of my bowl. I take a dry sponge and I just dab it in the center there. It takes all the moisture out. See how nice? So now my bowl is how I want it, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this tool, see it there, and I'm going to hold it. Still, the secret is always to keep your arms in, because that gives everything support. Now we take this tool, we run it along the bottom of the clay piece, and I was holding it down this way against the bottom. Now I'm going to turn it like this, again against the bottom, and you see I'm supporting my hand here as I go. So now when I pull it down, I'm cleaning the bottom. So my bowl is now done, and how I'm going to take it off is I have this wire tool. Looks like this. See this? And I put my thumbs like this right against the bottom, and I just pull it towards me, and then I take a little bit of water to make this plate wet, and I just very gently glide the bowl off of the wheel. Look at that. There's our bowl. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'm going to give you some activities to go along with it, and then when we get back in school next semester, you guys will have a chance to try this wheel out for yourselves and do it with me in person.